Hi Steffi, back again with some Long War Impossible. I've been a bit busy over the weekend, so I'm quite keen to get back in on this. Let's see, I need to remind myself where I was at when I last played this. I remember I skipped on a large UFO, and I think I did an abduction mission. Yeah, that sounds about right. Right, how many privates do I have left? Ah, that's plenty. I don't have any Lance Corporals yet, I don't think. Nope. Right, probably going to be our first Lance Corporal on this mission, whatever we get here then. So maybe I can talk a bit more about what I've been doing in the base section in this game. This here, Argentina withdrawing from the council. This is random. At the start of every Long War game, or on the 13th of March of every Long War game, I don't know what day it is, but it'll be somewhere in March. You get one country that will leave the XCOM project, and that country then becomes the country with the alien base assault later on. Excuse me. There's no way to avoid this. You're going to get one country that does this, and from my point of view, Argentina's a pretty good one to get, because that continent bonus isn't the most vital. The best two continent bonuses, in my opinion, are Asia and North America. North America is great, but you don't need it immediately. Asia is also great, and you don't necessarily need it immediately, but it's harder to control 4 territories than it is to control 3. Get satellites, keep them all busy, so that's why I prefer to start off in Asia. Europe isn't bad if you're going for the workshop lab strategy, but that is so specific that it's a struggle always to get it. Yeah, and Africa, the 30% bonus is great, but I think that in this ends up, the North America bonus ends up being more effective, essentially. Right. So, other aspects of the base management I can talk about. These facilities. I haven't really built anything yet because there's not been anything I need to build. Generally, I suppose the first thing you're focusing on is satellite uplinks. If I'd managed my resources a bit better, I was a little bit distracted in this playthrough in particular, and also if that hadn't had that bug earlier in the campaign where I just randomly didn't get a UFO crash site to assault, I could have done a lot better on satellites. This essentially is going to act as a spare satellite now because I'm not going to be able to get this out before the end of the month. You can launch 3 satellites or have 3 satellites in orbit by the end of the month, and that can be really helpful. You get every time you have a satellite covering a country in Long War, you will see anything that happens in that country. In terms of if a terror mission is heading to that country, you will see a very large UFO heading across your screen to go actually to that area. Other aspects, the hangar, filling out 6 interceptors into your hangar straight away is quite helpful. Being able to level up these ones, and generally in my experience what I've found is that you'll be leveling up everything from your starting continent. It's very important not to lose anything early on, more so than generally in the mid game where everything has a little more experience. Losing an interceptor there can be a lot more crucial. But early on, you'll be training up all your interceptors, and then your best interceptors will be transferred to other continents that you can then have as the best interceptor on that continent to take on more and support the weaker interceptors on that continent there. Anything else? Research. Xenobiology is your first research. The reason for that, it should always be, sorry, by the time you get, or I should say, once you finish xenobiology, you get sectoid corpses, which means that by the time you get to beam weapons, you've probably saved more. You'll have saved more time by selling sectoid corpses for scientists than you would have gained by skipping xenobiology. So that obviously just is something that compounds over the course of the campaign. So by the time you're getting 3 or 4 months in, you'll have entire extra researches based on the fact that you were able to sell sectoid corpses early on and then turn them into scientists. Now, scientists are a lot more valuable, it seems like, in Long War. Just take care of this. It seems like scientists are more valuable because of how many things there are to research and how long it takes to research things, and the fact that some of the research tree options that were in vanilla that weren't that useful are a lot more useful in Long War. Autopsies in particular are one example of that. Every autopsy has, you know, some really valuable aspect to it. Now the question here now, do you want to train up a rookie or do you want to stack kills? I think I need to sort of even out my kills a little bit so that I can transfer them to different continents. But it's not so bad. If this one fails, then I will stack it up onto another one. It should only take 2 hits, I should think, yeah. Or 1 hit, in fact. Alright, so we're going to have a UFO assault for this mission. It should be a scout, I should imagine. I can take a few privates. We're still in March. It's so risky to take privates later on than, you know, after April. So getting your privates, getting a great shallow but wide roster at the start of the game can be quite useful. Then you can build that roster up safer than having a few very, very well promoted soldiers having to carry the rest of the squad. So what I will do is take someone who is quite high aim. I don't know what. I think he's been on a mission before, Kanan. Yeah, he went on a mission before and he didn't get promoted. Okay, I'll take a few specialists then. Might even take someone fatigued just to get the Lance Corporal quicker. Nah, it's not necessary. Right, well, we'll take a scout, a very, very low health scout. This is likely to turn into a Pathfinder mech later on. Let's see what else have we got. A gunner. Gunners in general are just so helpful. Suppression is, you know, it's a godsend early on in the campaign. Just it'll just shut down early game aliens so well. I don't think I've got a Rocketeer yet, so I think I can take one of them. And I think the last one I would like. I kind of need to start thinking about a sniper, but there's no great ones. I guess this one. Wait a minute, did I see a 71% specialist there? Ah, that is a guy who's one day going to become an infantry, and that day can be today. So, if I just fill him up with a bit of an aim bonus. He's got 80 aim now, so that means a steady weapon takes him up to 100, which is an incredible amount of aim for this early on in the game. On crashed UFOs, I think I feel safe with flashbangs and AP grenades. AP grenades have a sort of, I guess you'd call it like a hidden aim range penalty on them, because not only do you have to reach the alien that you're shooting at, but you have to be able to actually reach past their cover as well. So you have to be a little closer to use AP grenades. That, you know, that initially it doesn't seem like a problem, but yeah, it can be. Okay, I'm happy with the gunner having the med kit. The scout should be taking a shotgun to deal with the outsider. And do I have anything else that the scout should really carry? I think I'm happy with that. This last guy, he's going to have to carry a flashbang though. That looks like an okay team. Let's get going. Ah, it's the urban area UFO crash. Appropriate for Japan.
Densely populated area within the city limits. Let's just hope everyone on the ground stayed clear.
As I was mentioning earlier, actually, now I've just seen this tip. The officer training school is so valuable early on because you want to get those promotions to keep everyone from getting too fatigued. Now, as I've said many times, being fatigued and injured doesn't matter as much in the first month or two, because you have such a wide variety of almost like equally talented soldiers. You know, the difference between a private and a specialist is not all that much in terms of aim and armor and defense and such. So you can kind of deal with fatigues and injuries early on. But the officer training school, getting those promoted soldiers up is quite good, because you often get into a situation with a bottleneck where you have officers that you would like to promote, but they need more missions. So getting them, you know, getting lots of missions under the belt quite early on can be quite good. Now, I personally, I have had, I'd say, bad luck on this map many, many times. It seems like it's always a map that always seems to go wrong for me. And the first thing that you need to be aware of is that it's very, very possible alien pods will spawn over here. I don't think I've gotten this time. That is one concern on this map. The trouble is that the sightlines on this are so snaky. It's almost like walking through a forest or something where you've got, you know, mashed up sightlines that you can't see past here. For example, you can't see what's in there. You can't really see what's just here. You have to get very, very close to aliens before you spot them. And early on that's not a problem, but then when you get into the later game, it's actually, I find, better to engage at medium range rather than close range, as it is early on. Let's see. Or even long range if you have snipers and gunners. You know, it's nice that in Long War you really can tailor your squad to the kind of tactics you want to do. If you're looking for, you know, very close range combat, you can take scouts and assaults and rocketeers. Infantry can manage pretty much everything, or you can set yourself up for almost like a scout sniper team where you've got spotters and then long range snipers and gunners who can take things out from afar. And that becomes quite a viable strategy, I think, later on when you have things like mechtoids and sectopods causing you problems. Now, I bet you that's going to expire just before I get to it, knowing my luck. I shouldn't curse the gods of luck yet. So far they've not given me anything bad to complain about on this particular campaign. Alright then. Now, a lot of people when they're moving and overwatching, where you move is as important as how you move. And if you're doing this kind of movement, it's actually, in my opinion, better to stay out of close combat sightlines, because if you're going to trigger a pod when they patrol into you during their turn, you're going to want clear sightlines so that everyone can get an overwatch. So you need to ride this line between good cover and good sightlines. I see what I was saying about sightlines and how you can be tripped up on this map. There were aliens just waiting for us right there. I want to get this meld first. Now, I'm in a position to potentially suppress either of these guys, so that's not bad. Now, the careful point we need here is that we could trigger over here, and so if I send... Where's my scout? My scout can just about manage to get there. So the most risky maneuver first, as you can see, triggers more aliens, so that he can get out if need be, which he will need to do in this situation. Right, one of the safest options here, I think, is that I probably triggered 2 out of either 2 or 3 pods that are patrolling outside of the UFO. So I think I'm fairly safe from this direction now, so I can take cover against this other pod while trying to take out this one at the same time. Now, moving there could be a good option. Now I want to check grenade situation so that I can take care of this guy if I need to. So these two guys both have grenades on them. So if I don't have any other options on this guy, I can either suppress and flashbang him with, I believe one of them has a flashbang. Yep, he does. And also the infantry does as well. So if I move to here, that should give me line of sight blocker against there. So my infantry is probably not likely to take many shots here. The guy who should be out in Danger Town is probably Neil Bryant with his 6 health. And this infantry I'm going to probably end up moving back to here, so he can flank if need be. And run overwatches in that direction. Right, I think we've got a plan coming together here. Move here, have the infantry kill this guy. Suppress and control this guy if we can't kill him. And we'll see where we go from there. Gonna need a second guy to take this shot then. I'm thinking the safest option here is to take him out with a grenade, actually. So I need a grenade to land here so that it doesn't also hit my infantry. Right, I want to leave the guy with the flashbang. Let him stay as he is for now. I'd like to move here, but I don't want to block myself from moving up to here, because there are some great shots I could take down there next turn. Unfortunately, I don't think I've got much of an option here. I have to move here and throw a grenade. Get as close as possible without hurting the infantry. Let's see about this guy now. This would be a great position for the scout, but it's a risk on triggering the outsider there. I'm wondering now if there's any flank shots on this guy I can take that would still be in cover. And I don't think there is. Right, seeing as how this guy, this heavy, this gunner in fact, has a grenade, I'm going to throw 2 grenades at this guy. Because when you've got 2 pods, you don't want to be messing about with someone who is this close, trying to control them. That does leave me open to be able to take a shot here actually. So I'm going to move the Rocketeer up. Having the Rocketeer in heavy cover, that's like even more of a bonus. He can take a shot. If he kills, that's great. If not, we can deal with that. And this scout. Now I need somewhere good with cover. This will do. Bonus of getting the rookie a kill here. Mohammed Karnam, I think he's got 100 out of 120 experience. That tends to be the way it goes with the rookie who doesn't get a kill. Yeah, I should have had him take the shot first with his 6 damage. Right. I want to move my scout to a position that is in concealment and ready to flank. So that he can trigger overwatches, kill aliens, and free everything up for the rest of the squad. I think here is both the safest and the most beneficial. It's a little far, unfortunately. One more tile now to put him in one of these positions. Now, I need to think now what the alien's going to do in this turn. One of them might mind meld, move forward, probably to around here. So having someone sitting here is good. I don't think that... If the aliens move to here, at least I'm in cover. And I know that they can't move to here, so... It seems like a fairly safe place to be. Yep, there's a mind meld, I think, from over here. I don't think he has vision of the scout here. This one does. Overwatch is fine. And he now definitely doesn't have vision of the scout. Yeah, my infantry, unfortunately, is the man in danger in on this turn. Luckily, that's tied them up now, because I can trigger this overwatch with this scout, move to a position that can flank this guy. I was hoping I'd be able to move there, but I cannot. Okay. Right, well, I suspect the first turn here is going to be my scout triggering this overwatch, but then how is the best way to do that? That is the question. He has a frag grenade, actually. So if I move him to somewhere that I could blow this cover, that could work. Right here might do it. This is still a little risky, having someone take a shot, because I think it's still possible for a sectoid to hit a moving target that's on the first lightning reflexes. They need to have, I suppose they need to have more than 90 aim, but yeah, I'd need to look up on that one, on how much aim sectoids have on Long War. Right, again, there's some options here. I can either go with this, which will blow cover and also do damage to both. Killing this mind meld might even eventually kill this one. So if this did 2 damage to this sectoid, this frag grenade I'm talking about, then killing this mind melder would kill it, which is it's tempting. But I can always move forward and possibly suppress. So what can you see from there? Right. Yeah, this guy here is going to be my savior because he's got a flashbang on him. So yeah, I'm gonna frag this and hopefully destroy some cover here. Now I'll need to check that his cover is actually destructible. Yeah, it is. Okay. Good. If this doesn't destroy his cover, then I'll have to use an AP grenade. Of course, he's still got heavy cover from that direction, but I can move here to flank. Actually, I might stick with using the flashbang on the infantry here. Well, you bring Rocketeers for a purpose, so perhaps now is the time to use it. Some careful consideration here. I want to move here, but I'm concerned about the outsider triggering. I think that this is a risk I'm going to have to take here, because that is far enough away from the infantry site that it probably won't trigger the outsider, and if it does, then I still have some moves that I can move away from. Oh, and there's some meld there as well. This is a reasonable shot. Very good. Now, the next thing I think I'm going to have to test how far I can throw the flashbang. I'm fairly sure I can hit this one, but I don't think I can hit both. Right. I wonder if I can see from this corner. What I'm thinking now is taking shots on this mine melder. But I need to control the situation here with flashbangs. So it looks like I need to see what I can do with this flashbang before I can make any decisions. Can I hit both? Oh, that is excellent. I can hit both. That's what I'm going to do then. So we're a little more safe from these two sectoids now. They can still kill, but I've got plenty of soldiers within very close range. Even though they're in half cover, like this guy, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. He can see them both, so he's in a little bit of a risky situation there. Yeah, I think that what I'm thinking here is that I'm holding onto this rocket for no reason, because this could be the last pod on the map, you know, apart from the outsider. But I'm going to move up, try to be safe. Right, I'm going to have him overwatch in a position they can see so that they won't move. Actually, that's worthwhile taking a hit on. 63%. Soften him up a little bit. If I can suppress him, that'd be great, but I suspect this is line... Yep, it's blocking line of sight. Right. That's just fine, because they're going to have terrible aim. My scout can run in and kill them this turn. I just need to check that I have control of the situation. I have a flashbang, but I need an AP grenade within range of this alien. And unfortunately the only one is the scout, which is who I was going to use to kill this alien. I need to... Right, I have rocket as backup. So... if I move to here, kill this guy, take shots at this guy. If it doesn't work, throw a rocket at him. Question is, can I shoot a rocket at him that won't hit the scout? Yeah, I think so. Maybe it's safer to take this rocket shot now, actually. If it misses, it'll probably hit this other guy. Yeah, I'll do that first. I mean, it seems a little excessive to use a rocket like this, but, you know, they're a lot less reliable in Long War, so... you know, things like that can happen quite easily. Again, take this shot. I don't want to move the scout until I'm sure I can kill or have killed this guy.
Adjusting sights.
Are these really the last of my options now? That's not bad, because I can move to flashbang, but it won't trigger this overwatch. That's the trouble. Well, actually, I think it will. Yeah, I think it will trigger that overwatch. That's good. This will do. So yeah, I'm going to use the flashbang on the infantry on this guy to control him. The reason I wanted to make sure this guy was dead was because I was expecting to have to put the scout into sort of a dangerous situation, but I can just flashbang him again with this infantry. Now, as always, it's worth taking the shot before you flashbang and waste the flashbang just in case. I don't think, unfortunately, that my gunner can even get to a position to take a shot, but I know that this guy can. I may as well get a bit of a range bonus, since he won't be able to get this close to flank me anyway. So 43% chance to not have to use a flashbang, that's alright, isn't it?
Negative damage.
That's okay. Now, I'd say that there's probably like a 70 or 80% chance that nothing would happen even if I didn't flashbang. But, you know, I want to reduce variance in the game as much as possible. That's why there's certain perks that you probably wouldn't prefer over others, at least in my case anyway. Perks that add variance to your game are not ones I'm interested in general. Things like resilience, which is entirely a reduction in variance, which reduces the, you know, it makes it impossible to have any critical hits, which are, you know, a percentage chance to have happen. Things like that are some of the best perks in my opinion. You can make estimates and predictions about what's going to happen so much safer when you have perks like that. Okay, the last thing to do, hopefully, is to kill the outsider, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was another drone and sectoid pack out there somewhere. And I still haven't used a rocket. Oh, actually I used one rocket, but I still haven't used up my rockets. So my rocketeer still has something to bring to the game. Yeah, I think I heard a sectoid pod, so that's not too bad. This map is one of the smaller maps for UFOs because of it being an urban environment. Moving up. Yeah, I'm fairly sure I heard a sectoid that direction. I'd like to engage everything before you trigger the outsider, because one of the things the outsiders often do, they have an ability that I think they can use it without taking any actions to call for backup. I think most of the aliens can do this. Definitely Thin Men I've seen do, and sectoids, and outsiders in particular. They'll call for backup, and the entire map sometimes will just descend upon you. So it might be out there that you've seen this before, where you'll be in probably a larger UFO. You'll trigger an outsider pod, and then for some reason the entire map descends upon you, and you're having a very bad time all of a sudden. And it might take a few turns to happen, but it can be painful. And if they trigger in the wrong place, then you're in a lot of trouble. I think what's going to end up happening here is I'm going to be triggering the outsider. I just heard another little sectoid groan there. If I move here, I'm likely to trigger the outsider, and I don't really want to do it with the guy with the shotgun on him. I want him to be the second to act. When we trigger the outsider, that is. Right, make sure everyone's topped up on ammo. I think the sectoids have moved around the back of the UFO here, so it looks like it might be time to breach. The infantry is not going to be able to take shots from where he is anyway, so he can be the trigger man.
The alien flight computer could prove to be extremely useful in our own research.
Thank you, Valen.
Please take great care in returning it to the base in one piece.
Yeah, so it's likely that there's the outsider just here, which is lucky for us because it means we can get inside the UFO and do some fighting inside the UFO where it's a lot safer to engage sectoids from. Yep, directly over in that direction. Alright, it's rookie time. There he is. It's good to... I mentioned earlier that it's good to sometimes let the aliens come to a position where you can do a flank next turn. Outsiders are a little bit tricky, and it's very, very difficult to get them to go exactly where you want, in my experience. I've found it quite hard to force an outsider to move where I want them to when I trigger them. And so sometimes just engaging them directly is good because they'll run up to cover in front of them. Now, can I kill this outsider this turn? I'm not sure I can. I can control him with suppression, and I can flank him here with the infantry, but I'm not sure that's something I want to do. I think if I pin him with Overwatch and suppress him, that might be better. Again, I'm concerned about moving too far forward here. Right, in an ideal world, what he'll do is he will overwatch, and I can move the scout in. So I'll put the gunner here, all the infantry here, or the infantry, the rookies here, and just in case of emergency situation, I'm gonna have Neil Bryant with a steady weapon rocket. Right. Again, if I had a flashbang here, I'd use it, but I'm just gambling on suppression here. Hunker down, that's good as well. Scare him with a lot of overwatches, and hopefully he won't want to move. Right. I heard sectoids. I think they're past behind this door though. Wherever I put my scout here, it's likely that if I trigger a sectoid pod, he's going to be in trouble. So he should be the first to act. Okay. I don't want to take that shot yet, until I've gotten someone else in a good position. There's the infantry here. I don't think that's going to trigger, but you got to be careful with these things. Oh, that's always a relief, a 10 critical and an outsider. Right. Now prepare for sectoid inbound. Managing your ammo and your gunners, there's a challenge, and it always seems that no matter what you do, your gunners never have enough ammo, but it's a very important aspect when you have a gunner in your squad to make sure that they have the right ammo at the right time. The difference between having just one less ammo so that you can't suppress again can sometimes be fatal in a way that it isn't usually for, say, scouts and assaults with shotguns and such. Right. Now that's a terrible place for me to fight them. They have heavy cover, a slight high ground advantage, and I have nothing. I think I'm going to have to send a flanking squad here. This area. Now I'm very confident that this is the last pod on the map. Right, so I'm probably going to end up hunking down this turn. I wish that I could get a chance to see what they're up to. So I think I might set up an overwatch trap that I can use the infantry and the gunner for. I want to set up an overwatch trap, but I don't want to be sitting in half cover when I do it. So I think keeping the gunner here will work fine. Oh, I forgot about the rocketeer here. He can also overwatch. So if they come forward, that's great, because I can flank them with this squad down here, which they have done. That's good. So in this case, what I've done now is I've drawn them towards a hunkered down soldier, being the only one they can see, and then set up a situation where I can flank them from the side. Now, I'm going to take one shot, because then that means that if this kills, there's one less overwatch that the scout needs to run. Which it did, that's good. And I would have liked to have used this guy, but it's risky on this corner, because I would have liked to keep this high explosive grenade for use on this one, but if I were to take a move that was there, then there, I can't guarantee that one of these two sectoids wouldn't have spotted him. So, now it's up to the scout to run the overwatch, probably throw the grenade. I don't think I want to use the rocket here, it's a bit of an overkill. I don't think I can move up to suppress either, so moving this overwatch, and then probably... This is one of those annoying situations where you're left with one guy left and you just can't quite control him. Well, in any case, to do anything this turn, I'm going to have to trigger this overwatch. So I can move my infantry up. Yeah, see, there's the guaranteed, not guaranteed to keep you alive lightning reflexes. That must have been something like a 5% chance for that to happen, and it's always brutal when it does. I'm lucky there, because that is a very low health scout. Okay. In fact, he's so low that I think I'll probably end up hunkering him down. 50% chance, 50% chance to kill is nice. Well, it's not even a 50% chance to kill. I always forget about the armor. Right, I can... Okay, I will move also this guy somewhere where he can likely get the kill next turn.
On the move. Covering now.
Another question here, concealment or hunker? I think hunkering is fairly safe. What could have been dangerous there is if you mind frayed him. That would have been terrible. But, yeah. Now I'm definitely going to be able to kill him here because I can throw a frag grenade right on top of him, so see if we can get this guy another kill. Some more experience to make up for the fact that he didn't level up last time. Let me just think. I've definitely gotten a kill on this guy, I think. He used an AP grenade earlier, didn't he? Did that? Yeah, that did 6 damage and killed the sectoid down around here somewhere. So, yeah. I'm going to have this guy take a shot, if not, scout. Another thing is that when someone's injured like that, I tend to not want to get them more experience because they're going to be out for a while, so if I give it to this guy, that experience is going to be instantly useful. As soon as he comes off fatigue, I can take advantage of that again, and perhaps the fact that he was such a high experienced rookie meant that he'll be further through the specialist level and then quickly be able to get to Lance Corporal and Corporal faster. Hopefully that's the idea. So we have our first Lance Corporal, who is the scout that took the hit, and you know, he's the luckiest scout ever because just 1 damage, or if that sectoid had decided he was going to mind fray instead of take a shot, he'd have been in a lot of trouble. Now, here's a decision. I don't think that rapid reaction is very good on scouts. You're hardly ever using Overwatch for them. The decision, I believe, is between holo targeting and damn good ground. Damn good ground is not the best of perks, but again, holo targeting is not something that you see scouts taking advantage of a lot. Unless you're in a situation where the entire squad is attacking one target, like say a mechtoid that charges you and you have to take it down. Those are the only situations where holo targeting is useful, and generally in those situations as well, you're going to have either a gunner or an engineer who has holo targeting. That being said, damn good ground is so much more situational, I think, than holo targeting, that you can't take advantage of it until you have, say, jumpy legs or grapple armor, and I'm not going to have either of those anytime soon. So for this scout, in this situation, I'm picking holo targeting, but as the game goes on, I favour damn good ground a little more. That's my logic there. So we got ourselves a scout sniper, 2 scout snipers, and I think one of these 2 had really high aim. This guy, he's going to be a sniper then. He's going to be the squad sniper. Right, back to the base and see what we got. So we can now research alien computers. Not that I'm going to do that anytime soon. There's no pending requests, but I can talk a little bit about requests. With requests, you get requests generally for things that you've researched. So once you've autopsied thin men, you'll start getting requests for thin men corpses. That's one of the reasons why I think that the autopsies are a lot more valuable in Long War. And also, you need to autopsy an alien before you can interrogate it. And some of the interrogation benefits are excellent. I can't remember if it's interrogation or autopsy that you get the medkit from thin men. You get the improved medkit, which heals for 6 instead of 3, and that is incredibly good. It just doubles your medic's effectiveness, essentially, and medics being fairly useless early on until you get, you know, better weapons, higher promotions, and that in particular, that Foundry project. Thank you, Bradford. It can really boost up the usefulness of a medic. So what I would say is I would never take a meld request, no matter how enticing, unless I was completely on the ropes and about to lose the game. I would not sell meld because you get so starved of meld at the point where you start building mechs, and the value of a jumpy legs is just so much higher than what they're offering to pay for this meld, as an example. There's also, you know, hyperreactive pupils on infantry and gunners, if they have double tap, is incredibly useful. Far more useful, I think, than it was in vanilla. Some of the gene mods are actually been flipped on their head a little bit. Ones that were not very useful are now extremely useful, in my opinion. So, what else have we got? Illyrium as well. I'm more inclined to sell Illyrium right at the start, but I am aware that you get starved of it in the late game. Because it's so valuable, five space bucks for one Illyrium, it's sometimes quite tempting, but I would never sell alien alloys, because if you sell alien alloys, you are essentially halting all engineering work completely. Everything needs alloys, everything important anyway. Beam weapons, shivs, mechs, all of these things need alloys, and selling them is really not going to do you any favours. As for power supplies, alien power supplies I prefer to sell because I think that they're priced a little bit highly in Long War. I mean they are still very helpful and useful, but 60 is a very high price, and I wouldn't be surprised if in future patches the Long War developers reduce the sell price of alien computers and power sources, because they just are they're worth less than that money, in my opinion, that you can get for them. Obviously you don't sell every single one unless you need to, because they can still research things. Thanks again, Bradford. If you don't know, this is actually, that little text there is a reference to a TV show that XCOM was originally based on, from I think the 60s. It was a British TV show that was really cheesy and rubbish, in the vein of Doctor Who, I think. But anyway, enough about that. I am very, very close now to the council report. No, I'm not. I'm getting mixed up with a different campaign. I think what I was thinking there was that I'm too close to the council report to build any satellites. That was what I was getting at. So I can't really do much about this now. It would be nice if I could have had 3 satellites. You get some engineers and a lot of cash here as well, but it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Satellites have been so downplayed in Long War compared to vanilla. In vanilla they were the single most important aspect of the base defense. Just build satellites as fast and as quickly as you can, and that meant, you know, in order to build more satellite uplinks, you needed more engineers, and that made things more awkward and more difficult. I think I'm thinking that this steam might be quite useful to put a thermal vent on soon. So if I can get 3 cash and start building something, that would be quite good. 3 weapon fragments, that'll do it. You end up with so many weapon fragments in the late game, that more than you can spend really, so that's not a concern. So I'm going to dig to the steam vent so that that's open for when I next need to build some more power. I am probably going to build at least 1 fission generator here first, and then likely what I'll probably try and do is put, you know, Foundry, Cyber Lab, and maybe a couple of workshops here to get some adjacency bonus there. Those workshops are great because they give you rebates, but they give you rebates in alloys as well. And as I said earlier, alloys are the lifeblood of your engineering, so they're so helpful. No, I haven't built any of these yet, so I'm going to quickly build a bunch of these. But when I first started playing Long War, I absolutely loved sawn-off shotguns, but as time goes on, I'm becoming less and less interested in using them. You can still use them with scouts, with SMGs, and then use one of these to get a bit of an extra flank, but I find that that's so situational that it's sometimes just safer to put a shotgun on the scout anyway. So that's enough for me. A little bit more about the base defense and a shorter UFO mission, I think, on this one. So I will see you in the next video then.